Okay. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here. Today's nonsense is warriors. That's right. We're playing some warriors. There were recently some buffs to the warrior tribe, and I think it has made things interesting. We've played a relatively similar deck in the past with, you know, very light warrior synergies and some equipment. Well, okay, so we're back. Light warrior synergies and some equipment. The new set, Kamigawa, has added a few little wrinkles that I think make the deck very interesting, and things have changed around some. We are playing the Colossus Hammer. Equipped creature loses or gains 10/10 and loses flying. Equip 8. Ooh, expensive, right? Well, Resolute Strike says if target creature gets +2/+2, if it's a warrior, you may attach an equipment to it. So we can attach the Colossus Hammer for free. Using Kor Blademaster, it gains double strike. So if you equip Kor Blademaster with the Colossus Hammer, it's boom, an 11/11 or 13/13 because it gets +2/+2 and double strike, right? Okay. So that part of the combo, pretty, you know, self-explanatory. We're also running Nahiri, Heir of the Ancients, where you can create a 1/1 and attach an equipment to it. So attach the Colossus Hammer for free there as well. So that is, and then A-Bruenor Battlehammer. Each you can attach an equipment for 0 only once each turn and only as a sorcery. So that's our combo elements in the deck. The rest of it, the A-Kargan Warleader got a little bit of a buff by gaining Ward 1 and granting Ward 1 to all of your warriors. So this, being our Lord, got a lot better, and I think it's good enough. So let's see if any of the rest of this can come together and bring victory. All right, folks, so here we are, 4-land hand. No equipment in our equipment deck, but we do have the warriors and warrior lords, so, you know, what the heck, why not? So we're going to start with Sacred Foundry. Our opponent also starts on Sacred Foundry. They go with Hushbringer? What kind of spice is this? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Kor Blademaster makes it to the battlefield. Our opponent goes with Acererak Archlich, but no Hushbringer trigger, so it's just a 3-mana 5/5. Pretty good. We, however, draw into a Colossus Hammer. Our opponent blocks with the Acererak, so we equip, and sure enough, that's a 13/13. Double strike. Opponent, your go. Oh no, they have the Bloodchief's Thirst. Fine. We were doing a cool thing, but they were thwarting that cool thing. The other cool thing here, though, is A-Kargan Warleader has Ward. So that's right, we drew into another Resolute Strike. That's 3 Resolute Strikes. Mogi doing something cool and likely a little disappointed by this particular situation. So we're going to go ahead and cast the Kor Blademaster and attack. Opponent does elect to block, so okay. These things are fine. We're going to allow that to happen and pass turn. What say you, Mogi? 6 mana and passes. Okay, Bonesplitter. That's actually kind of a good decoy. We're going to go ahead and equip it to A-Kargan Warleader, and then go into combat. This is a lot of damage. So naturally, we're targeting the A-Kargan Warleader because we're pretty sure they have removal here, right? So we're going to make them use that removal on the A-Kargan Warleader and then make sure they pay Ward. And then rather than put the Colossus Hammer on that, since we have the extra Resolute Strike, we'll just kill them anyway. GG, Mogi, GG. Not exactly a marathon of a game, but darn it, I'll take the win when it arrives. Next up is Cheskali. Good luck, Cheskali. And yeah, I mean, the hand looks fine. No, again, no equipment somehow. We have quite a few pieces of equipment in the stack, but alas, it's definitely the sort of thing that the deck's going to do what the deck wants to do, you know. But, ooh, boom, there it is. Lion Sash does qualify as an equipment. At least it offers the equip condition, even if there's nothing in the graveyard. Our opponent goes with Zagoth Mamba and Essence Symbiote. Folks, our opponent is very clearly going to be doing some mutating. So we're going to crush the Zagoth Mamba's bones and pass. The opponent does not mutate here because they have the World Tree. Well, darn it. Inconveniently enough for them, we have another Bonecrusher Giant, so we just killed our Essence Symbiote, and they don't have a land drop this time. I'm sure they were expecting to use the Migratory Greathorn to mutate onto the Essence Symbiote and get their land drop. As it turns out, that's not a possibility. So the fourth land finally does come down, but now our opponent's in a bit of a spot. So they're like, okay, I guess we're going to run out the Dirge Bat, probably again, hoping to Migratory Greathorn onto it, but we have Kor Blademaster. And the poor opponent is like, no, you know what? I came here to mutate, and I don't have anything else worthwhile to mutate. So let's just scoop him up. All right, the Biscuit Jesus. Our next opponent. Yeah, this hand is awkward, but fine. We're going to start on a Spikefield Hazard tapped. And our opponent goes with the Irrigated Farmland into Glacial Fortress, and it looks like we're facing control. Always a good time ahead of us when our opponent is playing control, but alas, we have a turn to Blademaster. If our opponent allows it to resolve, which of course they don't, so exiled is our Blademaster. So we're going to let the Sacred Foundry enter tapped and wait until their end step. And we're going to plan on bone crushing if they were to advance the board. We know better. But at least this way, it tempts them to try and counter and spend their mana on their turn. Because countering the 2 damage isn't actually the end of the world, but every couple of points of damage matters, and they counter 2 spells for 1, because they know eventually we'll cast the Bonecrusher Giant, so it's very tempting. In fact, they do that thing. So A-Kargan Warleader, going to make it to the battlefield, tempting to cast the Colossus Hammer, but that lets him in on the game, right? So, our intention right now is to hold on to it and see if we can resolve both of them in the same turn. Colossus Hammer. I'm not thinking about it. Does have the disallow. Inconvenient. But not actually the end of the world. We're going to pay the life, pop down a Lion Sash, and we are going to equip. Yes, this is not actually giving us any power and toughness yet, but what it is doing is giving us insulation against some kind of board sweeper. If our opponent goes with, let's say, Day of Judgment or Wrath of God, we protect our Lion Sash and essentially give it haste. So we're going to go ahead, eat a couple of things from our bin. We don't have anything particularly valuable there. So grow the Lion Sash, make it a threatening creature, and crash in. Our opponent drops to 13. We're going to pass the turn. Fumigate. Well, bummer. So now we've got to decide, are we going to eat from their bin or cast this Bonecrusher Giant? We're going to eat instead, I guess, because we can cast all the Bonecrusher Giant in one turn. So we shock their face, cast our Bonecrusher Giant, pass the turn. Sure. Opponent on 12. We have a 4-power creature. This is not a terrible place to be. Unless they fumigate. Okay. Opponent back up to 13, but hey. Hey. Halvar. 4/4. Does it have text? Not right now, but it don't need text. Right? It's a 4/4. And so our opponent makes their land drop up to 7. And passes. Hey, there we go. Deck's cooperating now. Don't really typically need 7 mana, but gonna go ahead and equip a Bonesplitter. And the opponent glimmers. 3 mana remain. Staring down 12 damage right now. The Resolute Strike does give +2/+2. Normally we're equipping things with it, but it is a combat trick, right? So do we go for the play? No, we wait for the damage to happen on the first strike because then the damage is done. If they have some kind of bounce spell or something and they were like, well, we'll wait, now part of the damage is done. We Resolute Strike. This is still lethal, but we make sure to get half of our lethal strike in before doing the thing. And sure enough, our opponent, either they can't counter or they won't counter, and they take the L instead. GG. GG. All right. Lemao is our next opponent. Good luck, Lemao. And we have some decisions to make. I think it is going to be Bonesplitter here. Because, again, Colossus Hammer more of a combo piece than a, an equipment. Whereas the Bonesplitter can just be, attached to a creature and you attack with it. Which is actually the primary plan with it, as a matter of fact. Hey, that's a good one, folks. This allows us to Bonecrusher Giant and still cast another equipment. We will use this opportunity to get set up. So if we were to draw our Resolute Strike, we can get the Colossus Hammer equipped. It's true that most of Lemao's damage, or removal, is likely to come in the form of damage. So definitely worthwhile, I think. A-Kargan Warleader comes down, gets a Bonesplitter for its trouble, and we pass the turn. See what Lemao has to say. Looks like Dragon's Rage Channeler, Faithless Looting. And shoot, there goes a Phoenix. Okay. Well, do they discard any more Phoenixes? Because this could be disastrous indeed. No more Phoenixes from the hand. But does discard another Dragon's Rage Channeler. And, oh my goodness, here's a Stormwing Entity. That's bad. Top with the Scries. Not ideal. But we do get another A-Kargan Warleader, which is a good deal. And we crash in for 6. Opponent takes all of it. We just follow it up with a Bonesplitter and pass the turn. Man, what we would really like is one of those double striking warriors to come off the top and give all of our warriors double strike and crash in with 2 double striking 6-power creatures. Man can dream, can he? Yeah. Well, while we're dreaming, our opponent is casting a Haymaker of a spell, Finale of Promise, growing their Stormwing Entity to roughly Titanic proportions, putting enough card types in the bin to give Delirium, and good golly. Yeah, not looking good. 9 damage in the air. Scratch that. 10 damage in the air. Scratch that. 13 damage in the air. And Inspiring Vantage. Not gonna do it. Yeah, well, we'll equip and crash in. But that's all she wrote. All right, well, GG, Lemao. No shame in losing to one of the best decks in the format. Next up, Delta Bravo. Good luck, Delta Bravo. Yeah. Sand looks fine. Just the one equipment. It's the rabbit. But the rabbit's fine equipment. Especially considering, we get to attack with it. Our opponent goes with oh, crud. Rakdos Goblins. Oh, no. Alright, well, let's see if our opponent is interested in a rabbit battery. You gonna trade your Skirk Prospector? Yeah, I thought not. Alright, we crash in for 1. Our opponent goes with Conspicuous Snoop. Does have the Goblin Munitions fellow on top. And yeah, we're just gonna cleanse the Conspicuous Snoop. It's one of the ways they just run away with the game. So we're gonna crash in for another one. Trading blows back and forth. Opponent drops to 18. And Bloodsun? Okay. That's actually kind of nice. Our Sacred Foundry now enters untapped. So we're going to Kor Blademaster and attach it. Why? Because haste, that's why. Crash in for 2 double striking. Opponent thinking about it, does elect to block with the Skirk Prospector, just doesn't want to take that much damage. And holy crud, Lotus Field comes down, our opponent crashes in for roughly 25 million damage. And we're left feeling hollow and empty and wishing that all of our life choices have been made in different order. Inconvenient. Either way, GG. Opponent GG. Alright, folks, here we are up against Ragnar Sigurdsson. And good luck, Ragnar Sigurdsson. We're going to go ahead and start on a Spikefield Hazard. Seems like a good place to be. Inspiring Vantage likely to come down. But hold on, here's a Den of the Bugbear. I think this is fine. Admittedly, a little awkward because we have a bunch of white spells we would like to get out of our hand, but getting the Den of the Bugbear in untapped seems good, considering we can follow it up with a white mana and a white mana on the ensuing turns. We are going to slam A-Kargan Warleader. It was very tempting to maul the Skyclaves there, just to, you know, make sure to get a bigger attack in. But I think this sets us up better for future turns. Also provides a little ward, you know, that sort of thing. So, feels good, man. Hold on, here we go. That's quite the draw. Kor Blademaster. Gonna be able to come on down. It's a 2/2. And haste? Yeah, baby. 3/3 double strike. Feeling good in the neighborhood. Yeah, don't mind if I do. We're gonna be able to attack for 9 here. Really appreciating this. We have a chance to just close the game out. Resolute Strike, gonna make that a 5 power and 5 toughness creature, but oh no! Eiganjo, that's good. Let's just give our creature +2. No, no! John Likes Games, what are you doing? Oh. Foolish young man. I'm ashamed. We could have protected our creature and scooted 10. Rather than doing that, I get too creative and decide, oh, well, I can just reattach the rabbit battery after the Eiganjo dies there and still get in for quite a bit of damage. That was foolish. That was very dumb. I am beating myself up right now over that. Just absolutely pummeling myself about the face. Our opponent leers, but there's no instants and sorceries in the bin, so it's okay. Trying to decide how to go about this turn. We just crash in with the A-Kargan Warleader. And the tilt has me. Just absolutely in every way, shape, manner, and form. So we go and just slam a Lion Sash. No! Darn you, Auto Tapper. We don't need the Spikefield Cave. We certainly don't need the Den of the Bugbear, but it taps our white lands instead. Now, oh my goodness. The tilt has me. I should have at least equipped the Lion Sash with the 2 red mana. But after seeing that Auto Tapper in conjunction with the previous play, oh my goodness, I am over the moon disappointed. So, not to be beaten up here, I manually tap. Manually tap? It was going to save my Spikefield Cave? I have no idea what was going on there. Okay, our opponent does have the Archmage's Charm. And the issue is it can't be countered, or you can't counter things because of Leer. So, despite my best efforts, giving it my 100% there to try and make sure to lose that game, we sort it out and do get the win eventually. Well, folks, it just proves you don't have to play the perfect game to be able to win the occasional one, right? I'm still tilted about that. That was a vicious turn cycle that continually punishes me, and having to relive it. Without words. Just without words. Either way, good game, Ragnar Sigurdsson, good game. Alright, folks, here we are up against, well, I have no idea how to pronounce that, and I think it would be culturally insensitive for me to try. But we're going to go ahead and start with a Colossus Hammer, get onto the battlefield. We have some Kor Blademaster action, a little Seasoned Hallowblade interaction, and our opponent goes with Hollowed Fountains. So we're just going to go ahead, slam the Seasoned Hallowblade, and expect to have to give it Indestructible, with reckless abandon here. That's okay, though, considering we just get to start jamming. The little bit of a decision here could have gone for the Seasoned Hallowblade, but we don't have a lot of cards to discard, so giving them both indestructible, maybe a little less good. Oh, crud, the opponent goes with Strict Proctor. Not a huge fan of that. So I guess we're going to get down to Kor Blademaster, but it kind of informs their decision. There was no reason to do that pre-combat. A little bit, you know, I'm feeling a little bit bad about that right now, but no big deal. Our opponent jams to Fairy, puts back Colossus Hammer, and scoops. We're already right back into it. It's BB for our next opponent, and boom. Bonesplitter coming on down. We're going to go ahead and go with Eiganjo and a Seasoned Hallowblade. Drawing the Colossus Hammer Resolute Strike combo together, the deal is we need to have, you know, a place to put it, so to speak, right? So we're going to very carefully check our mana there and crash in. I mean, if our opponent's going to let us hit for 15, we're going to do it. All right, BB, your go. We have a 13-11. What say you? Land drop, Phoenix of Ash. And gets in with the Phoenix of Ash. All right, fine. These options not particularly ideal. I guess we're just going to make a land drop and charge in for 13. You don't say. All right, Seasoned Hallowblade crashes in, and our opponent makes 2 satyrs. We're at a very healthy 18 still, so not feeling too bad about that. Mana Gorger Phoenix also can't block, though. So going to attack in with these 2. Okay, well, this is fine with me. Bonecrusher Giant, going to kill your Phoenix of Ash. You have 3 creatures who cannot block. You have a way to deal 11 direct damage to Seasoned Hallowblade and prevent us from discarding? I didn't think so. GG. BB. GG. All right. Foithier. Our next opponent. Good luck, Foithier. This hand's awkward. Just 100% equipments. Admittedly, the Lion Sash being half equipment, half creature is kind of convenient here. So we're just going to go ahead, start on a mountain, go with a Bonesplitter. Kind of nice. Oh, crud. Our opponent goes with Ajani's Welcome, post-Lunarch Veteran, leaving a mana open. So we're just going to go ahead and jam a Seasoned Hallowblade, I guess, and pass. What say you, Foithier? Beseiju? Kill our Bonesplitter? All right. Oop, clicking the wrong one there. Need a Sacred Foundry. Don't mind if I do. Tapped, sure. Yeah, no, that's great. We're pretty happy about that. So our opponent ramping us just a wee bit gives us the opportunity to maul the Skyclaves onto our Seasoned Hallowblade, crash in for 5, and cast a brand new Bonesplitter. Thank you, Foithier. Now, though, they have the Collected Company. Do we just die? Please no combo. Please no combo. That's not the combo, but good lord, that's pretty darned close. Trellisara doing a bunch of scrying. Goes top, goes top, goes top. Voice of the Blessed becomes a 6/6 Flying Vigilance. I don't like this. I guess we take 1 down to 18. Okay, well, the first step is going to be equip Bonesplitter and charge in. See what our opponent says about these things. We kind of expect a Voice of the Blessed block here. It does not happen. So our opponent looking to try and win the video game. So I guess we're just going to Lion Sash to be able to chump, but also hold up the Bonecrusher Giant to be able to interact. Our opponent goes with a Heliod, going to throw a bunch of counters around. The problem is we can't really prevent a whole bunch of counters being thrown around. Life gained. Counter goes on. Counter goes on. Counter goes on. And scries. Opponent gets in for the easy 15. And we elect to take it, saying, you know, sometimes playing to not lose is not the same as playing to win. Unfortunately, our options not overly good right now. Kind of wishing we had our Bonesplitter back. Have Seiju coming back to get us after all. And considering reconfiguring, considering just chomping things from the bin, we are going to get rid of the Lunarch Veteran and reconfigure. That's an 8-power attacker. So, combat. Yep, the opponent does elect to block. Probably Wisdom there. Heliod, no longer a creature. We jam a Bonecrusher Giant and pray. Oh, crud. Ajani's welcome. Not good news. Oh. Fine. Folks, this is infinite life, infinite creatures. Well, on the client, it's 250 life, 250 creatures, but, you know, you get the point. Not a reasonable number, not a reasonable number, so we are going to die. GG, opponent. Heir getting their combo together. It happens, it happens. All right. Well, folks, we are back here against Stefcon. Good luck, Stefcon. And they go with a Mountain Reckless Ringleader. Ay, ay, ay. So it begins. We're going to go with Kabira Takedown. Well, not ideal. Runaway Steamkin gains the haste from the Runaway or Reckless Ringleader. All right, I guess we go with our Blademaster. Not particularly thrilled about this. We'll need at least one more land. Oh, crud. But just the Fervent Champion that gets in. Well, we take our one. Hey, there we go. That's the third land. Feels good, man. A-Kargan Warleader, come on down. Well, we decide if it's race time, well, let's race then, right? And charge in for 4, meaning it's now 14 to 16, though admittedly our opponent does have the initiative here. Well, you know, my math is saying Embercleave makes it close, but I believe we've still got them given the circumstances that have arisen. So Bonesplitter, Rabbit Battery equip, Bonesplitter equip, 16? 16. GG, Stefcon. GG. All right, folks, we are now up against Carlotus. Good luck, Carlotus. Going to start on a Sokenzan, and since we have the whole combo in hand, it is very, very tempting to hang on to it. Because we'll alert our opponent to the need to block, right? Too early. So we do hold on to it. We go with Kor Blademaster on 2, and we're hoping our opponent's just like, oh, look at it. It's a cute little Kor Blademaster. Let's ignore it. And, oh, crud. Calling Familiar into Ravenous Squirrel is pretty disgusting. Opponent starts with the Witch's Oven here. So we're just going to go ahead and Colossus Hammer. And do combat. Opponent, just how risky are you? Is it die time? Can we kill you, opponent? Do you grant us permission to make you dead? Ravenous Squirrel grows. And they say, okay, we'll call your bluff. We weren't bluffing, opponent. We have 26 damage coming in. So good block from our opponent, I think. There's a case we made that maybe it was supposed to be the Called Familiar. Just so they could keep the squirrel around. But they wanted to make sure, you know, they wanted to call our bluff and make sure we had it. We did, so it is what it is. But Kor Blademaster, ready to come in. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and Lion Sash. Why Lion Sash instead of Bonecrusher Giant? Well, because we don't have a lot of mana to work with. And very importantly, If our opponent blocks with the Cauldron Familiar, we can eat it from the bin. So the biggest problem right now is, sure, we've got an 11/11 double strike, but there's no trample. So the Cauldron Familiar can just chump it all day. So the Lion Sash prevents all of that stuff. Our opponent very brazenly goes for the Cauldron Familiar, tries to bring it back from the bin, and so we just say, okay, lions eat cats all day, apparently. Lion Sash grows, and the opponent now facing down an awkward situation with a 22 damage potential creature, and Meathook Massacres to get rid of the Lion Sash. Well, I'm not great at math, folks, but, you know. GG, Carlotus. GG. All right, folks, we are back. We are back. And honestly, it was a good time. We got to get them. I know it's certainly not a new combo, the Colossus Hammer Resolute Strike thing. But it really feels like a gotcha moment, you know, when your opponent is not respecting your deck and you just, you know, let them have it. The other notable thing, folks, is this is a common and this is an uncommon. So even though this is kind of a known combo, particularly in, let's say, Modern, there's a Hammer Time deck, they call it. It's a very, very affordable way of making your list kind of come up in tier. So I want to point this out. Resolute Strike, common, uncommon, uncommon, common, uncommon, 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 couple of rares, uncommons, a couple of rares, and uncommons. So then these mythic, uncommon, mythics, there's just not that many really expensive cards here to craft. I would want the Bonecrusher Giants at least because they both carry equipment and they serve as interaction. I think they're very, very good, and they're also just good in the format. But then the rest of this is all really pretty, you know, interchangeable. So the rest, this core of the deck could just be built for all commons and uncommons, 100% of this commons and uncommons, and this could be a deck. If you don't have the Nahiris, just more Bruenors, right? So this could easily be 3 Bruenors, no Nahiris. Then the Halvar is here because it's both an equipment and a creature. So it's really nice that it can come off the top and fill either role. Because part of the problem with equipment decks is sometimes you draw all your equipments, sometimes you draw your creatures. Neither one is as powerful as when you draw a nice mixture. Well, Halvar and indeed our Lion Sashes and things like that are nice little ways of making sure that that doesn't happen anymore, right? So this Halvar, though, easily could be another, I don't know, maybe even Rabbit Battery, just get a little more aggressive or something like that. The other thing you might consider is maybe more Lion Sash. I think if you were saying, yeah, I've got just a few rares and stuff to spend, I would say Bonecrushers first and then Lion Sashes. You do need some amount of graveyard hate typically in the format. And I could easily see a person saying, you know what I want? I want more graveyard hate. So maybe as many as like 4 of these just to, you know, help in that. But again, folks, this can be built literally for all commons and uncommons if you felt so inclined. I would say the lands are still pretty important though, so get those as soon as possible, because if, you know, you're trying to be aggressive in a 2-color deck and you can't cast your spells, you're going to lose, right? So that is a serious bummer. But I do think that the deck was pretty good, and I would encourage you to build it if you had the wild cards floating around and thought you were going to go ahead and try something a little spicy. That said, I appreciate you all. Make sure to do the like and subscribe thing. It really helps the channel, folks. It's YouTube's hard, you know, and there's an awful lot of algorithm style issues and things like that I just am really having a hard time overcoming. So doing a little bit to help would just mean the world to me. I really appreciate it. That said, I will catch you all next time.